Hey guys, LimbWalkers here. You've been asking us how we sharpen our chainsaws? Well, today I'm going to give you a demonstration. I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks and a few tools that can help you along your way. Guys, so first tip is make sure you have a tight chain. You cannot sharpen your chain when the chain's loose. Go ahead and give it a little crank down. Make sure it's not too tight where you can still lift it and lock it down. Next, make sure you have the right file for the job. There's multiple gauges. Check what gauge your chain is and use the appropriate gauge. You find handles. There's many different types. They work well. This is one of the best ones I can recommend. It's made by Stihl, and this will not only sharpen your teeth, but it'll also take your rakers down, which is something we'll go over today. Helps by making sure you keep the right angle, and it's just a good all-in-one tool. If you don't have one, get one of these. Okay, now that we've picked out our file and we have the handle we've chosen to use, we're going to secure the chainsaw, best used by a vise, or you can also put a slice and a stump and use that. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to keep the file horizontal with the tooth. We're then going to want to pick up our angle, which you can find at the back of the tooth, and we're going to want to take a stroke forward, cleaning it out. Depending how much you've used it, 2 to 3 strokes is usually good. What I tell everybody is, if you wait till your chainsaw chain is dull, you've waited too long. Now you're putting too much work in. So every couple of tanks of gas, I would recommend touching up the saw. Depending what you get into, you may need to touch it up earlier. Keeping it horizontal, keeping it parallel with that back line, a few strokes, and you'll see a burr form on the top. Once you have that, you know you have a nice, clean, sharp tooth. Make sure you're making contact with your gullet, and what this will do is this actually pushes the debris out of the cut, clearing the cut so you can continue forward. Another very important thing to look at is you're going to need a flat file. You need to look at these rakers right here. And what these do is tell you how deep of a cut you can make. And if you set a flat file on top of it, you'll actually be able to see the gap under the tooth. And if there's it's best to get a gauge if you don't know what you're doing. But if that raker touches that file, that means you're not taking any wood down. So it doesn't matter how sharp your tooth is, you're not making a slice because that raker is keeping you from actually digging in and grabbing a piece of meat. So what you're going to want to do is, if that is touching, I would recommend 2 strikes across your raker. And you'll see how that shines that up. Another quick way to tell if your rakers need to be taken down is if the top of them are completely polished. If they're polished, that means they're rubbing on the wood and your tooth is not getting to cut. The great thing about this Stihl I was telling you about is you can actually take this and set it down on the tooth, and it hits not only your tooth but your raker at the same time. You also look at the front of it. If you just set the front of it up against the actual bar, there's an angle already built in for you, and all you have to do is push that forward. Like I said, guys, I really recommend, if you're trying to sharpen your own chainsaw and you're not sure what to do, you go with this method. So let's give you a little quick demonstration of how I go through it, and get a few of these teeth worked on with you. So one last bonus tip is if you don't have a handle and you can't get to one, you're out in the woods, you can cut you a piece of wood, drill you a hole in it, or most of the time it's soft enough you can just push your file in there, give it a little tap on a log, and believe it or not, you have a chainsaw file handle. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any more questions, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment to us and let us know what you want to see. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you again for all the support you've shown us.